Greetings and salutations, fellow humans. It's the 12th of October, 2025, and I am Thaddeus Satori. Today I'd like to share some observations on tribalism and racism. I'm going to approach it from an evolutionary perspective, but even if you believe that our origins started with just two people, then the gist of what I have to say should still resonate. So please hear me out. For millions of years, we hominids and humans lived in small hunter-gatherer tribes with the same languages, customs, and cultures. We lived in tight communities, and the entire group looked after and educated the children in ways of belief, behavior, and survival. Programming. We followed the stars and the herds and the seasons. In the evening, we sat around fires and shared food and stories of the day or past events. And we created myths to explain how we came to be and what happens after we die. Survival of the individual and of the tribe itself depended on everyone working together as a cohesive unit. Those who were good at tracking or tool making or finding tubers passed on their skills to others. This level of human abilities to cooperate and to pass on knowledge are what separate us from the other primates. Just try to imagine the chaos that would ensue if you were to put 150 chimpanzees on an airplane. We are pretty amazing in many ways. Way back when, we were few in number. There was plenty of open space, so there was no need to invade other people's territory. If there was a drought in our area, we simply moved to another. That's what we humans do. We move. According to the Google machine, tribalism began only about 30 to 35,000 years ago, when human populations grew large enough to start bumping up against each other and competing for resources. Having lived in different countries for much of my life, I have witnessed how we humans divide ourselves into tribes. In the places I have lived, the number of foreigners was always very low, so as a Yank, I tended to hang out with other Yanks, along with Brits, Aussies, Scots, and other native English speakers. I've noticed the same tendencies with native speakers of other languages, too. German speakers hang with German speakers, French with French, and so on. It makes sense, right? It's a lot easier to understand and be understood by people who share your native tongue and much of your history and culture. Religion is another great way to find a tribe. If you move to a new place, you can go to a church or temple or mosque and find instant community. Birds of a feather and all that. Racism appears to be a subcategory of tribalism that has only been around for about 1,000 years. Prior to that, all your neighbors were the same color as you, so you couldn't readily turn them into the other on that basis. It began with the European colonization of the rest of the world, when white people moved to places where the indigenous had higher levels of melanin. Think vitamin D and skin cancer. Since almost no one wants to see him or herself as a horrible person who does horrible things, we dehumanize the other and tell ourselves stories that justify our actions. Think of the demonization of the Jews by the Nazis in the last century, or the demonization of the Palestinians by the Israelis today. The irony is screaming, but the monkey is the monkey. We convince ourselves that we are striving for some greater good, so anything goes. After all, we are not the bad people. They are, right? I'm not singling out any particular group. People are people, and there are countless examples from all over the world and throughout time of humans doing terrible things to the other. It makes no sense, of course. Whether we evolved or began with Adam and Eve, we all come from the same stock. We can even interbreed and receive blood transfusions from these alleged others. Figure that one out. When I returned to the USA from Asia in December of 2024, I entered at the SeaTac Airport in Washington State. Aside from my excitement to be reunited with family, my original tribe, I was thrilled to see so many different shades of skin and to hear so many different languages being spoken. And it was even more inspiring to hear so many people with so many different native tongues communicating in English. In my mind, this has always been the greatness of the United States. Its ability to draw people from different tribes from all over the world and provide them a safe place to live and work together as members of a new tribe. Of course it's not perfect. It's made up of humans, and we humans are imperfect. But don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good either. It stands to reason that we need each other to survive. But now that we humans have succeeded in inhabiting and trashing the entire globe, we need to move beyond tribalism and recognize that everything is interconnected in this web of life and cycles on this finite planet, including us. Unfortunately, the world is run by a bunch of selfish, greedy psychopaths who can never be satisfied and can only succeed in attaining their limitless more by keeping us divided in small, myopic groups who are unable to see the forest through the trees. Please resist their programming. We have far bigger challenges than owning those who they have identified as the other, or focusing on small things that do not affect their daily lives. I am genuinely saddened by the fact that if we don't take the steps that are required for our continued survival, we will likely be seeing the dinosaurs in heaven very soon. I hope that I have shared some thoughts worthy of your contemplation. Remember, the battle has always been vertical, not horizontal. We are all in the same boat, but it appears that the people at the top don't realize it and are trying to sink us all. So, stand up for democracy and participate in it. Protest peacefully. Boycott. Start organizing locally and learn some useful skills. Expand your tribe. We need each other now more than ever. That's it for now. Thanks for listening. Cheers.